Well, hello, visitors to and denizens of the YouTubeverse. I'm John, your social hermit in the woods, and in this video, I'm going to show you how I make smoked trout. So stick around. So you'll notice what I said there. I said I'm going to show you how I make smoked trout, not how to make smoked trout. I'm going to show you a process of brining them and then smoking them, and there are a huge number of variables here. I'm going to do a really simple brine, which I like and works well, but I could certainly imagine there are a lot of other things that you might want to try adding to there. There's things I'd like to try experimenting with adding to there. Um, and then you get to the smoking itself, the time, the temperature. There's a lot of different styles here. So different people have different tastes. What I'm going to show you is what I like to do as a really simple thing, and you can start with that or build on it as you like. Okay, so what do we need? Well, the first thing you have to do is catch the trout. And here's a couple of excerpts from that, but how you catch your trout, I'll leave up to you to figure out. So I have here 7 nice trout. Uh, 5 of them are rainbows, 2 are cutthroat from 2 different little local lakes here. I just got these in the last couple of days. And I have put them into a large Ziploc bag. You need pretty much like the biggest size Ziploc bag you can get. And the fish themselves are just cleaned, nothing fancy. There you go. Hopefully that's on camera. I leave the heads and the tails on, but if you are short on space, you could consider taking the heads and the tails off. I think it looks kind of artistic after they're smoked if you leave them intact, though. Okay, so we have those. They're in a large Ziploc bag. And then we have a bowl, and I'm going to make a really, really simple brine here. Per liter or quart of water, pick your whichever one is your preferred measurement. I'm going to put in 1 tablespoon of, I'm just going to use plain table salt, and 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. Now in this case, I'm actually going to use, I like Demerara sugar, and it's a little bit stronger flavor. So 1 tablespoon salt, 1 tablespoon sugar, 1 liter of water. Again, lots of things. I can imagine mustard seeds or a little bit of horseradish or peppercorns, dill. Go nuts. I bet you a lot of those are good, but this will work. So I've got my 1 liter of water, 1 tablespoon of salt, and 1 tablespoon of Demerara sugar. Plop those in the water and give it a stir. Once your brine's dissolved, all you're going to do is pour that carefully into your Ziploc. What I like to do at this point is get a cookie sheet and put my bag of fish on top of it just in case anything happens in the next step. So all I'm going to do here, that was just 1 liter. We've got 7 nice fish in there. I'm going to basically squeeze out excess air so that everything has got brine on it. And then I'm going to close the Ziploc. There we go. You can see how those are all well exposed to the brine. Even the ones on top are getting nice coverage, getting down inside the body cavities. If you have any leftover air, you can open your Ziploc, kind of squeeze that out. There you go. Okay, now you can leave this as little as like an hour or 2, but I find it's easiest just to slide this into the fridge and leave it overnight. The challenge there is finding a big enough area, freeing up a shelf in the fridge where you can fit this, but I've already done that. So we'll slide it in there, and then we'll carry on with the process tomorrow morning. So after these have brined overnight, and I flipped the bag around a couple of times in the evening just to help make sure that everything was evenly brined. After these are done brining, you want to drain off the brine, and then spread them out back, usually on something like this cookie sheet, and put them back in the fridge for half an hour to an hour to kind of lightly dry the outside. It forms what's called a pellicle, which is a slightly sticky surface that the smoke's going to adhere to a little better. So that's our next step. Ready to go back in the fridge and dry off prior to going into the smoker. So I'm going to be doing this on what's called a bullet smoker from the shape. And these are very simple, very cheap, completely manual smokers. And by simple, I mean, if you look here, for instance, we have a gauge which is too cold, smoke, too hot. You have a vent on the top. You have a central smoker section with a couple of grills. And you have a bottom fire pit section, also with a vent. And all you do is we're going to build a fire in here. You can use charcoal, you can use wood, you can use a mixture of the two. I'll actually probably do a little bit of a mixture, but I'll start with charcoal. And you can add some specific kinds of wood for seasoning the smoke. These are purchased mesquite chips, and they're in water. You pre-soak them so that they'll smolder and smoke when they're thrown in, as opposed to just going up in flames, which is not what we want. Um, there's not much to say about one of these. Real simple. It requires some manual tending, but it's a good day to do that. Okay, so this part's all pretty straightforward. You get yourself some charcoal or wood to start. I like using the lump charcoal, not the briquettes, although a downside is you get these little pieces in there and they tend to fall through the grill. So you make an initial starter pile. It doesn't have to be huge, just big enough to get things going, and you get that lit. And you can add some more fuel right away now that you've had access to the starter cubes. Just try not to choke off all their air. So it only takes about 10 minutes to get that going. You can see some nice white embers and good orange glow, some flames down inside the charcoal. So we're about ready to enclose everything up and let it come to temperature. So we put everything all together. At this point, I'm going to leave the throttle here, the lower vent, right open to maximum, because I still want to bring the temperature up. And I'm going to leave the top vent open because I'm trying to get the maximum air draw through here. And I'm not really worried about trapping any smoke yet. I haven't added any of the mesquite chips. So that's already coming up. Let's watch it come up. Great. Okay, as we get up to temperature, into the smoke range, I like to run this between 175 and 200 for the whole process. Now I'm going to cut back on the air gaps, the vents. I'm going to back off on the vents and try to hold the temperature steady while I get the fish ready. So I've got my fish ready to go. I'd like to know that the body cavity stays open so that I get smoke inside there and both dry it, cook it out, and get smoke exposure. So I use a trick. I use a double-ended toothpick, and I use that to prop the body cavity open. So we'll do that on all 7 of these. We're a little bit warmer than I want there. Temperature is actually about 225, but anything between 175 and 225 is okay. It'll fluctuate a little bit. It'll cool down when I put the fish in there anyways. So I'm going to load them in. Set of tongs is useful. You can lift out the top rack. So they're all in place. Put the lid back on. And now we'd like to get a little bit of smoke. So, well, a little more smoke. It's already got some smoke in there. So I'm going to take some of these mesquite chips, not a lot of them, and I'm just going to kind of toss them in. Now, one thing you can't really see, let's try bringing the camera in, but right there you actually have a tray you can use for putting some water in to keep the humidity up or to help control the temperature. Some people use things like apple juice in there. I'm not going to put anything in there right now, but if the temperature starts getting too high, I will add a little bit of water in there as a way to help control it and stabilize it. And you can see the smoke building up. We're going to close the door and get smoking. I try to keep it between 175 and 225 degrees for 2 hours with steady smoke now. You do have to manually pilot these, so you're here and every 5 minutes or so checking the wood levels, maybe adding some smoke chips, and adjusting the upper and lower vents up and down as needed. At this point, we've closed the top vent to trap more smoke in, and mostly closed the bottom vent to keep the temperature where we want. Well, 2 hours is up, still at 200. It's been well behaved. We're done. Let's take a look. Perfection. We'll lift those out of there and then they're good to go. So I'm now just going to let all of these cool and then I'll vacuum seal them. Won't bother showing that in this video. Maybe the vacuum sealer is a topic for another video of its own. But that way you can do that, individually package them, freeze them, and they're good for a very long time. And when you want some delicious smoked trout for your dinner, you just go pull one of these out. I try to get about 25 to 30 packages a year, so 2 or 3 times a month, this can be something I have for dinner. Final product. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I'll add a photograph right at the end here of what one all packaged up for storage looks like. And maybe that gave you some ideas. There's a lot of different things you can do with smoking. This was very simple, really kind of a beginning step for probably most of you, but hopefully it showed how simple it is to come out with something that's absolutely delicious. And with that, until next time, this is John, your social hermit in the woods, saying goodbye.